Hi, yes. Today we are handling negative feedback. So first of all, who am I? I'm Akseli Lahtinen from the land of Finns, and I work at Tech Paladin Software. I also work at Blue Systems, so if anybody still is there, hi. I've been KDE contributor since 2021 around that time, and I also do hobby game dev. So I have gotten negative feedback from both game dev and KDE, so I have some experience. Today we go over some of the controversial contributions that have taught me something about this kind of feedback, what kind of negative feedback I've gotten, and how I handle it or didn't handle it. Then also harassment, because yes, that's a thing, and what I've encountered and how to handle that. But it's all not so bad in the end. There's some positive things. So, first of all, the controversial contributions. I made a bunch of visual changes, and visual changes are the most, visible, so people get angry when one pixel moves to the left. So I did window border outlines, so if you have two dark windows on top of each other, you can actually differentiate between them. I did a new Dolphin status bar, which some hate, some love. Then I modified the KIO, the URL bar that shows in Dolphin, to have the background, so it's easier to understand that, hey, you can actually click it. Actually, many people didn't know that. And then I rounded the corners in everything. And I got a lot of negative feedback from these. Some positives, of course, but mostly angry people. So the negative feedback types I encountered, negative feedback can be polite or impolite. So if you get polite in negative feedback, that's usually like fine. Like polite is the easiest to handle. For example, there's this, hi, this bug has been rather disruptive. I hope to see it fixed soon. These kind of messages are usual with crashes, like they just want things to work, and so do we. So in definition, it's negative feedback because it's about a thing that doesn't work, but when it's polite, it makes me want to fix it fast. Then there's the impolite thing. You just want to ignore it. One of these types is, hi, why is this bug not fixed? You are stupid lazy. And you get that a lot if you work on visual things. But then there's impolite yet workable feedback. I think that's most annoying. They have a point, but they are talking it through like you're a stupid person. so basically they are just really angry at you, but they have a point about it. It's so frustrating. Like, yes, I know you're right, but why are you so mean about it? Like, can't you just say that normally? Or, yeah. And then there's the unusable feedback, like, it's ugly. Well, okay, thanks, you too. Did you look in the mirror in the morning? Ask your mother. Like, you can't work on that. It's a subjective thing, so no. So how the handling process usually goes, at least for me, well, I feel hurt. Usually, well, when it's polite feedback, I feel less hurt, but I feel hurt that I caused a problem. But when it's the angry kind, of course I feel hurt. It's a thing I made. I wanted to make things better, and now people are angry at me. So, yeah, I'm gonna feel hurt. I think that's completely normal, and humans are allowed to feel hurt about things they make when somebody is being an ass. So in those cases, I just try to step away to avoid any obsession over it. It's very difficult when you want to fix it right away because it's causing issues to somebody. But you need to step away, let your mind rest. You are in an emotional state. You can't fix it right away because you're gonna do everything that makes the angry people to go away. So these entitled people will always exist that will give this kind of trouble. So you need to, you have plenty of time to learn this, how to rest before replying. So yeah, just don't reply when you are angry, is basically how I try to handle this. Of course, it's sometimes difficult and sometimes gets snippy, but it's best to just walk away, play some games, and come back to it later. Then, when you are actually replying, you should be cordial. In the end, you are being a professional, and they are being the loony bin. So, be cordial, but be strict. If you think the thing you made is actually beneficial, let's say accessibility feature that people hate for some reason, except those who need it, you have to be strict about it. Like, okay, this is actually needed because it helps people to actually see things or use things, even if the hater's gonna hate. But you have to be cordial and strict about it. Don't give in immediately. Of course, there's always some kind of truth behind it, but yeah. Then make jokes with friends. Nate made me this. When I rounded everything, we decided that I'm Darth Vader now. I have rounded the corners. Pray I don't round them any further. So, yeah, if I, just my way to deal with these things is just making things funny. So, yeah, if people get upset about a pixel, just tell them that you're going to make it worse for them. Well, don't tell them directly. Handling negative feedback, there's more. People often think that we are a big corporation, that especially newcomers to KDE world or Linux world are like, there's this big Linux corporation behind everything that does everything, and we are part of it. And then they are angry because they are so used to being angry at big corporations because they don't listen, but we do. We like to listen. But then we need to remind them that no, we are not. We are just a group of volunteers. Some of us are lucky to get some money out of it, but most of us are just doing this for a hobby. So you have to remind them that we are not a corporation. And sometimes that actually works, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. You have to ask for patience in those letters and extend offers to join us to help and direct people to right places. So when you get some negative feedback, let's say Dolphin, first of all, ask for patience, that tell them that you are going to iterate this over and over and over. The work is never done, because that's our job. And then you can extend an offer that if you want to get it fixed faster, you can try to help us. Usually that tends to shut some people up. And then you have to direct people to the right places, because sometimes people are complaining about a thing that's in some framework somewhere, and you have done an application, and the framework changes, and then the application looks a bit different. And well, in my case, I was in charge of both of those changes, but you have to direct the person to the right places, because when they're complaining in the wrong place, it's not useful for anyone. And then, even then feedback is lousy, you can try to look at it in different view, like keep some keywords, pick them out, and like, it's ugly because this pixel is now too wide or something. And that usually means something like, okay, the pixel might be blurry. That kind of, you have to try to decipher the feedback for anything usable. And that can help a lot fixing things in future. And just ignore any of the nonsense in the comments. Now a bit less nice thing is the harassment I've encountered. From some stages, I've gotten a lot of hateful emails, or just plain weird ones. Like, I got some guy telling me that they play football, and since I don't play football, I'm weak. I was a goalie when I was a kid, so anyway. some weird stuff. And then you get the targeted insults. Somebody told me on Fediverse that I'm everything that is wrong with FOSS, and I wish I had a shirt that said that. Okay, nice. So that happens. This is the most annoying one to me. People flock into merge request after merging it. Like, of course, when they're developers and they say like, okay, this broke something. Yeah, sure. But when it's like 10 people going from the Reddit telling you that is bad, please fix. It may not seem like harassment at first, but when they kind of tend to pile on each other, and then you get like 10, 20 people, and if you don't lock it, it's a war zone. So that's the harassment part to me. When it's just one person, I can ignore it, but when it gets to the snowballing effect, that's when it gets weird. People also have shared my things kind of like around online in various sites, mocking my face and whatever. Well, if you have your stuff online, it's gonna happen to somebody. But like in a way, it's expected because you shared the thing, but it's not ever like pleasant feeling when people are like sharing things without your consent, to say. And harassment, in the end, it's not an on-off. It doesn't like start, stop, start, stop. It's like a scale that starts from something small that may feel first like a negative feedback loop, but it can grow from there to harassment. Then it can climb down, and then it start again all over, and it doesn't stop or start. It's like a roller coaster instead. So how do you handle this stuff? Well, tell me when you know. First, you tell your peers about it. It's a good idea to email about it to the community working group. You can see the email there. Do not reply, do not interact. If you get a junk email, it goes to the junk folder. That's it. Delete it, block the sender, ignore it. This is something I'd like us to do a bit more, just talking about the harassment in general, because we don't really talk about it. Well, we do, but we go over it quickly because we, of course, want the harassment to be over, but it's something we should be more open about it, I think. So we should make sure it's a known thing that happens. When somebody gets harassed, we need to act right immediately about it. So that's why I want it to be more known, so people can act on it faster. Don't give any spotlight to the harassers, so basically they do not reply, do not interact, but in any other ways too, like indirectly. Do not start sub-posting on Fediverse or whatever you use about them. I'm bad at that, but just try not to give them any spotlight, like try to make them non-existent. It's very difficult, I know, but it's better to just avoid that because some of them just feed on that spotlight and well, anyway. Then report any illegal things to authorities. So if you get actual threats, that can happen. I gotten, I think, 2 very nasty emails, but I just immediately spam deleted them. But if it's specifically illegal stuff, just it's a good idea to report it, I think, because, well, these people might be actual danger to somebody. So, and it's always the harasser's fault. Like, you are the victim. If you're getting harassed by some change people don't like, in the end, it's the harasser's fault. You didn't make a bad change. There's just bad people who are after you for some reason. So it's not your fault if these people start harassing you. Remember good things, though. There are, in the end, some people send nice things, so we should save, discuss, and cherish them more it's easy to get stuck in the loop of negativity. So keep the positive things saved. And silence is good. It's a bit weird, but if nobody says anything, people most likely like it. So if you have made a change, that is a visual change or something that's very into your face and nobody says anything, you did a good job. And feed a good atmosphere in the end, like we are all in this together, so compliment more each other, and that kind of shows up to the external communities as well, if they're the ones types who want to read the merge request and stuff. So compliment each other. And I wanted to talk about one of my favorite emails I've gotten, because even there have been bad things, there was one very nice one, and I'm paraphrasing it and keeping it anonymous, but there's head of ICT who works at Children's Hospital. They had some trouble seeing windows from each other without the window borders that I implemented. And since I added them, it actually helped them. It was very lengthy and heartfelt thanks for someone who has actual vision issues. And they really encouraged me to work on more accessibility. I have that saved, and I read it sometimes again and again. It's one positive situation that made all it worth to me, because before this email, I was actually considering stopping contributing because I got so much hate. This was before I worked at Tech Paladin, so I was still volunteer. But this one positive email was like, yeah, you know what? This is actually kind of nice. So we have reached the end. And in conclusions about this is that because we do this, because we love doing it. So of course, any bad, nasty comments will hurt. And again, it's okay to feel hurt. It's totally fine. It's a human thing. You just allow yourself to feel those feelings, because if you bottle them up, it's gonna blow up later. And rest, heal, retry, play some video games, or do something, read books, watch TV, walk away, go touch some grass. I should do that more. And just talk with your peers and friends and family about the whole situation, unload the bad feelings a bit. But even if you get these kind of annoying, angry emails, remember that ultimately we do much more good than bad. Like, I don't think we do anything bad, but in user point of view. So mistakes and bugs will always happen because computers. So just be proud of yourself, even if you get some nasty comments, because you're cool. So don't worry about it, and rest, come back later, and chill. In the end, it's all good. I'm a bit early, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Akseli. So we have lots of time for questions.
Also remember that you have a group of moderators on many of the platforms that people try and harass. Well, Reddit, on Discuss, and all the things. We actually have we started a new matrix room for the moderators so that we can decide. And we are there to protect you. So if somebody harasses you and it's on one of the platforms that we moderate, right, we can go in, we can delete the stuff, we can ban the person, we can do all sorts of things, okay?
Yes, agreed. I have contacted moderators before. It's really a good thing to do.
Thank you for the great talk, and thank you for sticking around despite all of the crap flood of feedback you tend to somehow magically attract more than probably most. I wanted to share my favorite email I've gotten in recent times. So there's a lot of doom and gloom around the internet, in particular around Wayland and accessibility and the combination of the two. But at some point I came across a bug report about somebody saying, hey, sticky keys don't work on Wayland. And I need that because that's something some people need. Most of us probably don't know what it is, but some people need that. I looked into that, I implemented it, then I got a very nice email from the same person thanking me for doing that, saying they are a happy user of Plasma Wayland now, and that I deserve a gold star in their book. So that made my day.
Yeah, those are the best kind.
Super important talk, thank you. I had a comment, maybe two comments. One, maybe this is for everybody in the room. I feel like getting a compliment is amazing, but feeling like people stick up for you, to me, is one of the most important feelings, that you're not alone in a situation. So just, yeah, keep that in mind, everyone here. And another comment is about impoliteness, because I've seen this happen a couple of times where it's important, I think, to disentangle impoliteness into different things, because sometimes it's busyness, and so it's brief, and that comes across as impolite, and sometimes it's just rude. And I find it helpful for me to try to take the generous interpretation, at least at first, when I then respond, as well as if I'm busy, just saying, busy, quick reply, and then say something so the person can put context into what might come across as impolite. Just something I was thinking when you were talking.
Yeah, I agree. Also have a tendency to be a bit blunt because English is my second language, so I don't really know the nuances, and sometimes it can sound like I'm being a bit rough, but I usually litter my comments with emojis just to make sure that everything's fine.
I have like two questions. But first one, when you said sharing things, I was just curious, did you mean sharing things like, for example, sharing related to like the project you're working on, or was it sharing something like personal, or what did you mean?
Both. So, for example, my photo of my face, or name, or in worst case, it has been where I live, not address, but city or country or something, and like sharing the general information about me in very negative contexts. I don't know how better to explain it, but it's just like in certain image boards, basically, has been threads about what I do, and then my stuff has been plastered over that, like, this is the guy who did this.
I'm sorry to hear that. So sharing though, if you're working on a project, like if you're working on KD for mobile or something and somebody reshared that information, that would be fine, right?
Yes, of course, like, that's fine when it's like in informative purpose, but when it's sharing what you do and then adding on it, like, they made this bad change, I hate the person, and then they add your information on top of that. That's what I meant.
Yeah, makes sense. I also wanted to ask you about one other thing, but I wanted to like just get your thoughts, whatever you want to say about it. But in like your statement about merge discussions, you know, like after a merge request has happened and then people start dogpiling in with thoughts, right? I was curious, what about when people are talking about a merge discussion, but the discussion is important, right? Not as something you would want to ignore, but like, how should that discussion like that actually happen in a way that is useful to you, to your team? Like, and what are your thoughts on that, where people can help you?
Well, I usually prefer it made as a new bug report, because that's or standard basically. When it's in a merge request, it happens afterwards, I might forget it much easier. Even if it's important, it's much easier for me to forget, because at least my personal way of working is that I take bug reports and add them to a list and go them through. So yeah, it's not bad when it's actually important. And like I tried to mention that, let's say you add a merge request that causes a crash. Of course you want to hear it in the merge request as well, but this is more in the case of 10 Reddit users dogpiling on you because they didn't like some change, and then they get very mean about it. But when it's like a polite discussion, I mean, I don't mind it, but I will forget it because I prefer to follow the bug request separately.
Cool, thanks. I also wanted to just give a thought from experience that I had that seemed useful. So from volunteering with different open source organization, but like the developers did a release and then got a really cruel issue opened on GitHub that they were deeply offended by. And so they were talking about this, and what ended up happening is, because they're upset about it, they passed it off to, I'm just like a volunteer, so I wrote the reply for them. And then I gave that to a different person who wasn't on that team, and they edited the reply, and once different people had worked on it, then they passed it back to the team to send, and that seemed to be really helpful and went fine. But just a thought that seemed to work well in a situation where they did want to reply to the issue that had been open, but it was contentious.
Yeah, third-party mediators can be very helpful. Yeah, I agree. That sounds like a good idea.
I was just going to say that when we have interacted as far as, visual stuff, it's always been so good. So I'm grateful for your intervention. I think you've been very gracious when it comes to feedback from our team. And I think when we work on visuals, we see this type of reactions from people a lot. And I was going to say another thing that you can do, or people in general, is rely on people who have given you feedback to be your support. So if, for example, the VDG tells you that, hey, we want to make sure that the URL bar in Dolphin does this little thing, okay, then people have given that feedback, and you don't have to be the person that says, I'll take the shield and fend off, all the bad comments about it. You can just say, this has been approved, we have discussed it, we have decided that this is the best course, we've realized that your suggestion is good, though it probably doesn't apply right now, things like that, and just move on and rely on the people that have given you the validation. And that always goes a long way. But I was just going to say that at the end of the day, I think all of us who work online, we are at a very unprecedented time when it comes to, visibility, right? Say one word on the internet and it just blows up. And so we're not designed for that, right? We're designed, as humans, we just work in smaller groups most of the times. And so that's difficult, but I just wanted to just congratulate you for all the work that you do. It's difficult to do this for a long time, especially with so much attention to it. And you're welcome to just put the finger back on the VDG sometimes if you need to.
Yeah, it's a issue I've been working on. But yeah, thank you. You're making me blush on stage.
Any more questions?
Okay, thank you again. So at 12:05 about-ish, we will have lunch upstairs. Remember, if you have not donated yesterday, we would really appreciate that you donate 10 euros for the lunch. And at 1:05, there will be the group photo, which will be, yeah, okay.
So we're gonna have, and I'm gonna share this message at lunch as well. We're gonna have the group photo at where the statue is, where the winged statue is, and there are a couple of steps there, and so we're going to sort of align 3 rows of people, and I'm gonna be in one, like in front of you to take a picture. But go there, hang out, and then I'll just come over and we'll do our thing.
Yeah, so at 1 o'clock we will gather in the lobby, and then we will go to the spot.